Yeah. But anyway, so anyhow, we're going on with this. And so we're so grateful. And we're going to talk about what? Let's talk about the unhinged marriage truths. Number one, I don't really have them numbered, but I went through and we were talking about this. And I want to share some of the things that um, married folk need to tell other people that's thinking about marriage. Number one, man wants women to stay fit while they stay fat. Okay, just want to let you all know we're not directing this to anyone, but I'm gonna be honest with you. I'm a woman that I was married 44 years, and so I know about it. And a lot of times they want the woman to stay fit and look good. I'm talking about from the time he set his eyes on her up until 10, 20, 30 years. Women, if you're out there, if you can agree, come on, say yes. They want you to put it in the chat. Say yes. They want the women to continue to stay fit, and while they sitting there and they're not fit as they were when you met them. Okay, they're not fit, but they want you to be fit. That's an unhinged truth about marriage. And I thank you all for joining the live. I thank you all for coming on. I thank you all. Number two, men want to receive 100% effort from their woman or from their wives while they give 10%. We're talking about unhinged marriage truth. And I wanted to come on here, you all, to let people know before I say I do. But if you're thinking about getting married, if you're thinking about a relationship permanently, and when I say permanently, because when you get married, you don't get married to say, well, if it don't work out, I'll just get a divorce. You don't do that. You don't get married to say, well, if it don't work out, I can just walk out. If it doesn't work out, I can walk out. No, you don't get married for that. Marriage is a commitment. Marriage is a partnership. Marriage is a team. Marriage is sacred. And you get married, to have a life together. That's why you get married. You get married so you can have life together and live together and love one another and respect one another. And before you say I do, you need to know what is required of you. Hello over there. You need to know what's required of you. So men want to receive 100% effort from their woman while they give 10%. This is it's not everybody, but I've seen it because I've been married. I was married for 44 years, and I can tell you all something. Now listen, this is another one. You don't want your man to look at nobody else. Ladies, listen to this. I just want, listen, if you can put in the chat thumbs up or a yes, that would be good. Because I'm on here to do what I can to help you all. Because a lot of times people don't want to tell you about how marriage life is. I'm telling you all before you jump into it, what it's about. And it's all good. Because when you love someone, it's wonderful. And you can share your life with them. It's wonderful. But I want to give a marriage truth on that one. Love is not guaranteed. Just because you have love for your spouse or your to-be spouse, that doesn't mean that you're going to be together, because love is good in the beginning. It's so good. But know this, when you are in a marriage, it takes commitment. You can love someone, you all be in love with somebody and not be with them. Okay? You can love somebody and not be with them. So it's good to love, but when you first begin, but later on you'll find out you need to make a commitment to each other that you're going to hold on to this relationship or this marriage or this union until death do you part. No one should want to go into a marriage and then saying that they want to get out of it is just because things are not going right in it. Okay? You don't want your man to look at nobody else, ladies. This is number 3 I have here. I wrote these down so I can remember to tell you all. A lot of women, they don't want their husbands or their man to look at anybody else. So we're talking about unhinged marriage truths. I'm giving you all the 411 unhinged marriage truths that a lot of people don't want to talk about. You don't want your man to look at nobody else, but look at how you look. Some women, they lose themselves. On YouTube, you can see on my post, yeah, I tell the ladies, don't lose yourself after you get married. After you say I do, don't lose yourself. And for the men, it's the same thing for them. Understand what I'm saying? Take care of your bodies. If you know that was a physical attraction with your husband to be or your husband, keep it. It's good. Now, yes, we get older, we change, but regardless, you still take care of yourself. You still keep yourself up. All right? And it's very important that you do this because you want to keep your marriage hot. You want to keep it, you want to stay, because a lot of times there are physical attraction in the beginning. And you all know that anybody that's in a relationship, there is a physical attraction. I see someone ask what was first to the first two. Number 1 was man wants women to stay fit while they stay fat. I'm talking about unhinged marriage truth. They want the woman to stay fit while they stay fat. If you don't believe me, if you all know someone that's been married, let's say 20 years, 30 years, a lot of times, the woman, and I know this, I have an aunt right now I'm thinking of, she stayed fit the entire time. Her and her husband were married for maybe 60 years, and she stayed fit the whole time, but you can't say that about him. He had a lot of love handles, I would say. And so, but it's very important. We're talking about unhinged marriage truths. It's very important for not only the female to be fit, but we're talking about the males to be fit. The males, the husbands, to be fit and fine, and the females to be fit and fine. Both of them stay healthy together. And that's very important. Okay, we're talking about unhinged marriage truths. Let's tell the truth about marriage. Let's be clear. This is the way marriage goes. Number 2, men want to receive 100% effort from their woman, from their wives, while they only give 10%. Now, once a man gets settled, and sometimes it's the female, gets settled in a marriage, and you all agree, come on, give me a thumbs up. If you all know what I'm talking about, let's give it a yes. Sometimes people don't want to stay with the facts. Well, in this podcast with Husband Love Your Wife, we're sticking with the facts. We're not sugarcoating anything. We're not covering anything up. We're sticking with the facts. And it's good for both parties to take care of themselves. A lot of times, a woman, she might want a 6-pack with the man. Oh, yes, she wants that 6-pack. But when it comes to her, she's gotten shit. When she first started out with the husband and with the man, she was a size 8. And then later on, she became a size 18. Listen, I'm just saying, you'll be a size 18, and then, but you don't want your husband to look at anybody else. You don't want them to look at another woman, nobody else. But then, you've changed from when you began before you said I do. All right. How about this one? You are a lady, so you have to take care of your feet. Get the crust off of your feet. I'm telling you, take care of your feet. Now, we have some women that's no problem with that. They get their feet done every week. You got to be honest. Exactly. You got to be honest. You got to take care of yourself, ladies. You have to take care of yourself. Men, you have to take care of yourself. We're talking about what? Unhinged truth. We're talking about unhinged marriage truth. Okay? We're talking the truth. We're talking about truth in a marriage. A marriage can look whole in public and be hurting in private. A marriage can look, and that's a lot of times I think that's happens. When people look at couples that's been together for years, when you go home, if you go home with them, you may never know some of the things that go on in their family, in their household. But when you see them out and about at church or in the store or whatever, you'll see that they look wonderful together. They're all smiles, happy, joy. And then when home time, you don't know what goes on. But, I'm an advocate for marriage. And I say this, once you get married, things shouldn't change. You should always have respect for the wife. Husbands, Husbands, you should always have respect for the wife. Husband, love your wives. Wives, you should always have respect for the husband. When respect leaves the relationship or the marriage, then you could just about throw anything out the door because respect is gone. That is one main thing that you have to keep in your relationship, and that is respect. That's respect. You have to respect one another. I want you all to share the live because I believe there's somebody out there that really needs to hear that you need to respect one another in a marriage. And respect is not, um, you know, cursing each other out. You doing certain things that your better half or your spouse don't care for. Okay, that's not respect. When you know that your wife doesn't like for the toilet seat to be up all the time. You know she prefer the toilet seat is down. Okay, but then yet and still you continue to have the toilet seat up and not putting it down. It's respect, and it's trying to do your best to try to get along with each other. And this is another one that I want to share with everybody, because we're talking about unhinged marriage truth. We're talking the truth. We're talking facts about marriage. Okay? We're talking facts about relationship. If you can't get along good in relationship with each other before you get married, sometimes that can be a red flag if you need to stay together or not. Okay? A wounded husband can love poorly, and a wounded wife can hear pain in everything. And I want to share this with everybody because some people, you talk and they listen, and some people are offended with anything that can be said. They have a spirit of offense that is up upon them. And so it has a lot to do with hurt. It has a lot to do that, you've been wounded in your life. It has a lot to do with that. And if you've been wounded, then you need to be healed. And when you're healed, then you can grow. Okay? But if you're not healed, and I'm saying this because, like I said, I wanted to have a podcast called Before I Say I Do. Before you say I do. And two people, and this is what they call it now, they call it trauma bond. It's a thing called trauma bond. Now, when I was dating, or because I got married when I was 18, you never heard of something called trauma bond. I didn't anyway. I'm talking about myself. Somebody else might have heard it. But some people are trauma bonded. But I'm here to say I am a psychology major, and I want to share this with you all that you need to be healed before you get into a relationship. A lot of times you see people that once they have broken up or went their separate ways from someone else, a lot of times you'll see that they'll hurry up and get into another relationship. I beg to differ on that. You need to heal from the prior relationship that you've broken from. Don't bring your trauma or whatever you had going on with the relationship, the one that you've broken off from. Don't bring that in a new relationship because you're going to eventually hurt the new person that has come about. And I know you all have probably heard that, but what I just said, a wounded husband can love poorly, and a wounded wife can hear pain in everything. You need to heal. We're talking about unhinged marriage truths. And this is a marriage truth that you need to be healed of a prior relationship before you get into any other relationship. And because if not, you're going to carry that over into the new relationship, and then you're going to cause a lot of hurt. You're going to cause a lot of pain for someone else when you could just be to yourself, learn yourself, know who you are, know what you like, know what you would not have want. You wouldn't want somebody to do you certain ways. So if you don't want someone to do you a certain way, then don't you do that to somebody else. Okay? And so, like I said, we are talking about unhinged truths. We're talking about unhinged truths in a marriage. And we're not talking about keeping up appearances and, making marriage look like it's all bad and a bag of chips. And marriage is good because when you're in marriage, and thank you, Miss Diane. When you're in a marriage, it's beautiful, but there must be a great within yourself. You can say, well, you know what? I'm in it to win it. Don't even have the divorce word in your mind. I'm in it to win it. And both parties need to be in that frame of mind. Both parties need to be in that frame. I'm in it to win it. I'm not in it to quit it. And that can bring about a strong marriage. And that's what I plan to do with this podcast, Husband Love Your Wives. We're building strong marriages, one husband at a time, one wife at a time. We're building strong marriages. Okay? And because we don't want this false look, like in the public. Everything is, oh honey, we love you so much. And that's good that you love in public. But then when you come home, it should be even better. Getting along with one another. Okay? And the healing process is very important in marriage. Healing, forgiveness, because you're taking, and I say this often, and I know you all probably have heard this over and over again because it's true. You're taking two different people that had come from different environments and you're putting them together. And when you put them together, it's going to be sometimes some differences in there. It's going to be some differences in there. Okay? But you have to learn to make it work through the kinks. You have to make it work through the kinks. And that's why I was saying earlier, love is good in the beginning. Oh, I love you. Oh, I love you, darling. I love you. I love you. I love you. I love you. Wonderful. But for a marriage to stay together, a lot of times you have to have a mind of commitment. I am committed to you. I am committed to you. And I won't leave you, dear. Yes, I love you, but not only do I love you, I'm going to stick with you. A lot of times people don't look at, because they make up their own vows and different things, now in sickness and in health, you know how that goes with the vows. And one day we might go through the vows, because a lot of times people, in sickness and health, the death do you part, you know, and because nowadays people, they make up their own vows, right? But it's important to know that marriage is for keeps. Let's move on to the next one. We're talking about what? Unhinged marriage truths. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about being true in a marriage. And now a lot of times people don't talk about marriage very much. They talk about, well, let's live together. Well, I heard one of my daughters say today, if you're not married, then you don't have an ex. You need to be married to have an ex. Okay? If you just got a boyfriend, even when you look at biblically, you see it's marriage. It's about marriage. I know a lot of people don't want to talk about it, but it's true. Now, let's go with the next one. Unhinged marriage truths. The strongest marriage learns how to what? Heal. That's that word heal again. After hard seasons. The strongest marriage learns how to heal after hard seasons. Now you might say, well, what is a hard season? What could a hard season be? A hard season in a marriage is your husband, who handles all the bills, takes care of mostly everything. He gets sick and he can't work and he can't bring the finances in like he once did. That's a hard season. But they're the strongest marriages learns how to heal after a hard season. If you've never been through a hard season in your life, keep on living. If you've never been through a hard season, just keep on living, because everything changes. You might have be in a good season right now, you and your husband and yourself, in a good season where everything is flourishing, money is no problem, you're getting along good, you're going out on date nights, you just love each other, your family is number one, everything is great. But then all of a sudden, someone gets sick, or something, or you don't even have to get sick. Someone can lose their job, or something can happen that in the family, that things don't, it's not all good. Things that are, and things are different, and you have to reevaluate what's been going on. Hard seasons in your life. You understand what I'm saying? And when you are married, you have to prepare your mind for hard seasons. I want to know if anybody listening to me right now, anybody know about a marriage and you've been through a hard season. You've been in a very, very, yes. Okay, listen, Roberta Bird says, yeah, it changed. He gets up and leaves you for his sister and other women. Well, that's a hard season, Miss Roberta Bird. That's a hard season. Yes, we're discussing unhinged marriage truth for a strong relationship. That's right. Yes, we're sharing unhinged marriage truths for a strong relationship. And Miss Bird, that's a hard time. I know about it. Okay, I know about it. Now I don't know about leaving for a sister. I don't know about that. Okay, but I do know about when a man gets up and walk away from you. See, I'm not one of those people that get on here and they can talk like they hadn't been through nothing, because I have. I have. I know how in a relationship things can get so heated until they get up and walk away. or things get too rough for because a man is responsible in the marriage. A man is responsible. Okay. And I want to start saying what a man is responsible for, but I'm gonna tell you this. I want to start saying, because I can go through and say, well, a man is responsible for this, a man is responsible for that, this. But I want to say this. A lot of people might not agree with me, but I'm gonna say it anyway. What did you agree upon before you said I do? What did you agree upon, ladies? Did you go into expectation before the marriage and you didn't discuss it with him? Okay? Because some men are not capable of doing some things that the wife is expecting him to do. All right, let's see what it says here. I'm a widow after 46 years of marriage, and God bless you for telling like it. I'm 80 years old. I'm telling it like it is, mother. Uh, I'm sorry. Yes, yes, ma'am. I'm telling it like it is, because young people need to know. You don't even hear much about marriages, people getting married anymore, because of so much that the young people, they don't know about marriage. I want to let you all know how it needs to be. And one thing you need to do, and this is the honest truth, you ladies, you need to get with the gentleman or the husband to be, and you all get together and come upon, agree on what your marriage is going to be like. All right. Someone says some of us had expectation for a completely different experience. Yes. Yes. But it's good to let your husband to be know what you expect from him. Honey, what am I expecting? What are you expecting of me? And I'm gonna let you know what I'm expecting of you. If I'm expecting you to pay the house note, I'm telling you before we get into this, I'm expecting you to pay the house note. I'm expecting you to pay the water bill, the light bill. I'm expecting you to pay the car note. I'm expecting you to keep food in the refrigerator, in the cupboard. I'm expecting you to keep a roof over my head. Okay? But make sure that you all agree. Make sure that you all that's what I'm saying. Love is great, but you have to have in your mind, okay, now what if, I'm telling you what's going to stop the what if, have a conversation and communication. And he knows what you expect from him, and you know what he expects from you. A strong marriage learns how to heal after hard seasons. You learn how to heal. And like I said earlier, heal before you move on to a new relationship. Heal. Heal. And when I say that, I mean this. Some people, they get married, they get a divorce, and then they hurry up. The divorce not even final yet, but they jumping in the bed with somebody else. You hurt. A lot of these young people don't believe in this. Exactly. They don't. That's why I want to talk about before you say I do. Before you say I do. Because they don't even believe in getting married. But I want to share this. Just because you don't believe in marriage, just because you don't believe, does that change biblical ways of God? Just because you don't believe that you don't have to get married, but you can shack up and have intimacy anytime, does that change anything with God? Is he going to change that about marriage? Is he going to change it? Because you can believe something, but just because you believe that something, that don't mean that it's not true. What I'm trying to say is, you can believe what you want to believe, but is that facts? This is husband, love your wives. And the scripture says, husband, love your wives as Christ loved the church. That's what it say. Now I know I might run a few people off with the scripture, but it's still the scripture, whether you run from scripture or not, whether you run from what God says or not, it's still there. It's still there. And a lot of times people want to live the way they want to live. I know a lady, she's been living with a man for years, 30 years, 40 years. She's been living with a man, you know, uh, and that's just it, But thank you. She's been living with a man. Thank you so much, you all. But when the man dies, what is she gonna get? I don't know. Then some people say, well, you don't marry someone. You don't do that just so you can get something when they die. Well, I tell you just like this right here. If I was married to somebody until they died, I would want something from it, and vice versa. Vice versa. If the love, I would want to get something, and then when I die, I would want him to get something. Whoever died first, I would want. So anyway, the strongest marriage learns how to heal after hard seasons. The next one, when respect leaves the room, peace follows behind it. This is a marriage truth here. This is an unhinged. When respect leaves the room, peace follows behind it. You don't not gonna have any peace in a marriage. When you live together, start living together as a husband and wife, and the first time you see a little bit of disrespect, you don't say nothing. The first chance you see a little bit of disrespect come out their mouth and you don't say nothing, that was a red flag right there. That's a red flag, red flag, right? You know, but I'm gonna go with what I said before. Let people know in the beginning. If before you get married, you need to let them know that we're not having this. We're not having that. Okay? Because when respect leaves, I'm telling you what I know. You're gonna be a hurt person when respect leaves the room. When respect leaves the relationship, when respect leaves the marriage, then you're going to have a problem because peace is going right behind the respect. It's going to get terrible. It's going to get terrible. And we don't want that. We're building good marriages, you all. And I talk about, let's pray about our marriages. I talk about praying because we're building good marriages. Some people, they are in their families, it's nothing but divorce. The divorce going down century after, generation after generation. Divorce, 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 divorce. You have to pray for your marriage. All right, another one. Here's another one. Many marriages are not destroyed by hate. They are weakened by neglect. Many marriages are not destroyed by hate. They are weakened by neglect. You can't neglect your marriage, you all. You can't neglect your relationship. Okay? It's not so much hate going on, but you can't neglect you just can't do it. You have to put in time with one another. And I say this because I know about it. Okay, if you ladies, I'm talking to the wives now. I'm talking to the ladies. If you have a husband that every weekend he's going out with the boys, and he never goes out with you, or he never spends time with you, then that relationship is under attack. And I love doing this husband love your wives because we were talking about, my daughter and I were talking about how marriages are under attack. Marriages are really under attack, you all, because people don't even try to stay together, some of them. And then talking about staying together, Sometimes I want to say this, they're not even marrying because in this time they act like marriage is a death sentence, and marriage is godly. Marriage is teamwork. Marriage is ordained by God. Marriage is a partnership. A partnership. Okay? And so, I want to share this with you all because people act like marriage is not a good thing, but marriage really is a good thing because when you put, I put this on I posted this about, marriage is the godly thing to do. And I believe some people got upset about it, but because people get upset, that doesn't mean you're not being truthful about a situation, because let them get upset about it. That doesn't matter. Because if you're telling the truth, stand for the truth. And that's what I do. And I'm here because if you're married, I want your marriage to be strong. I want your marriage to be strong. If you're not married and you're thinking about getting married, I want you to know what you're getting into. Got married when I was 18 years old. And that was a situation. And I say that because that when I was a little girl, a young girl, 12, I wanted to be married because I saw that with my parents. I saw my mom and dad married, and all my uncles and my aunts, all of them were married. Everybody was married. And so because I saw my family married, of course I wanted to be married. Of course I did. Not even knowing, hello, how you doing? Not even knowing anything about marriage. And so if you're thinking about marriage, if you're married, if you're newly married, I say it's good to go and research about marriage. Research what makes a husband a good husband. What makes a wife a good wife? Okay? And then when you research about it, ask your future wife or your future husband, what would you consider a good wife? What do you consider a good husband? That's a good conversation to have. And then I'm gonna tell you something. A man needs to have a plan. A man because if he doesn't have a plan of what's going to be going on, if he doesn't have a plan for the marriage, then what do you think is going to happen in your marriage? If he doesn't have a plan, he don't know where he's going, he doesn't have a clue. He doesn't have a clue. What do you think is going to happen in the marriage? You all, I just want to ask that question. Excuse me, let me get my notebook. I want to know, I'm getting my notebook here. I want to know, what do you think is going to happen if you plan on marrying someone and he doesn't know where he's going? He doesn't have the first idea. And a lot of times people are dating. Good question on a date. What are your plans for your life? What are you planning on doing? What are you planning on going? What do you want to do for in your life? Do you want to work on a job, or do you want to stay at home and eat peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and watch TV all day? You need to know, because I'm telling you, I got married very young, and me getting married young like I did, my goodness, I was in for a rude awakening. And that's how I know, and I can tell somebody else something. Okay? All right? I want to share some of these other things with you all today. I want to share some other things because we're talking about unhinged marriage truths. That's what we're talking about today. Unhinged marriage truths. Another one is, some marriages are breaking silently and nobody sees it until it's too late. Some marriages are breaking silently. We're trying to build marriage. And to believe this, you all, once you get married, you got some enemies. You got some enemies once you get married, because some people don't like for you to be together with your spouse anyway. And that's where prayer comes in. Okay? And I want to say this right here. It is good to keep love in a relationship in your marriage. And know when you have hurt your spouse. This is important, because you have to, and let your spouse know if they've hurt you. Now, if they're not mature enough to say it, well, I apologize for what I said. They're not mature enough. That's something that you should have found out before you got married to that person. How they react in conflict, how they react to you in any type of conflict. That's very important to know. It's very important to know, because if you don't forgive them without them accepting an apology, a lot of time wives will carry pain with them. They would carry that pain week after week, months, and they still remember what is being said. So I'm going to say this to everybody. Watch your words with your spouses. Watch your words. We're talking about unhinged marriage truths, you all. Watch your words. See, I'm telling you all the truth about marriage. A lot of people don't want to tell it, but I'm going to tell it. I'm telling the truth about how marriage can be. And you all need to know that. Some people are emotionally disconnected in a marriage. You don't want to be emotionally disconnected. You're going to bed, sleeping with someone, and you're emotionally disconnected. So you need to know how to talk to your spouse and tell them, listen, I don't feel good about this. I don't. You have to have that open communication, you all. You have to have that open communication. And I'm going to say something else that a lot of people might not agree upon, but don't hide the truth. Some marriages break up from people hiding the truth. I can think about somebody right now that I know that they hid the truth. I'll tell you what happened. They hid the truth. They were married. This couple was married for maybe 20-some years, right? Married for 20-some years. The gentleman, the husband, he had went out on the wife, and he had fathered a child. And the wife didn't know anything about it, okay? She didn't know anything about it. He hid it from her. And she didn't find out about it till maybe the young boy was 13 or 14 years old. The child was maybe 13 or 14 years old, and then she found out. You understand what I'm saying? And it crushed her. And they're divorced today. Hiding the truth can destroy a marriage. I hope everybody hear me on this. I wish I could post that one. Hiding the truth can destroy a marriage. You think cheating can just destroy the marriage? You hide the truth from your spouse, that can really destroy a marriage. And this lady, she found out, like I said, 13 or 14 years later, the child was. And then she just found out. And but until then, it seemed like everything was going along fine. Why? Because the husband was hiding the fact that he had fathered a child. Yeah, he had hid it for years. And so that's a danger, hiding the truth. So I want to share with everybody to be honest. Be honest with whatever's going on, and have that type of relationship where you can be honest with your spouse. Because if your marriage starts out with lies, then that's a red flag. I need to have a red flag in my hand. That's a red flag. When you can catch your husband, or before you get married to him, or her, because we have some lying women. It's not just a man. It's not just the men that lie. We have, I have a family member that, he would go with the ladies, and he would say they just tell lies. And he categorized the lady as a lady that was a light-skinned lady, and he said he don't want any more light-skinned women because the ones that he had went with were big liars. He categorized all light-skinned women as liars, and I know that's not true. But the family member had, so women lie too. They lie as well as men because lying is a spirit. It doesn't have a gender. And so my thing is, it's a big danger for you to be a liar in your relationship. If you didn't know, I decided to tell you. If you didn't know, to be a great liar, that's that's a red flag. Red flag, and that's one that you should run from. All right. Some husbands are present physically but absent emotionally, and I did a podcast on that one. This is unhinged truth about marriage. Unhinged truth about marriage. Some husbands are present physically but absent emotionally. Many wives are carrying pain that they never speak about. Okay? So this is a good time for I want you husbands to know that it's good to have conversation with your wife and says, honey, is there anything bothering you? Because a lot of women, a lot of wives, they carry pain that they don't ever say anything about. They're quiet and they're hurting silently. A lot of wives do that. They hurt silently, you all. We're talking about uh, unhinged marriage truths. A marriage does not collapse overnight. It weakens in small, ignored moments. And that's a good one because just want to share that because a lot of times a spouse won't say anything, and it's saying ignored moments. They might ignore it for the season, but they can remember. But they can remember, and so that's what we're talking about today. I just want to come on today. I love you all. Just want to come on. I had a few others, but I just want to come on to share that, the 10 marriage truths, the 10 marriage truths. Like this one, silence can feel like rejections to a woman. When a man gets silent, it can seem like rejection to a woman. This is a marriage truth. All right. And we're talking about the truth in marriage and how someone healing is so important. Healing and forgiveness and being understanding. Let me add that as well. Let me add that. And being understanding in a marriage is so crucial to have understanding. To have understanding. Marriage truths. Take care of yourself. Take care of yourselves. Love one another. Don't use harsh words with your spouse because I am a female and we now I'm not saying men don't remember, but women, wives, we remember those harsh words for a long time. We remember harsh words for a long time, longer than you know, gentlemen. We remember those things that you said to us. When you've called us out our name or when you curse us out, or when you speak harshly and talk about how ugly this is, or when, some husbands call their wives fat. You just fat. You just fat. And now the husband could be over 200 pounds himself, 260, 300 pounds, but he could pick it at his wife for being fat. You just fat. And that's breaking down the marriage. This is we talking about unhinged marriage truths. You just fat. You need to lose some weight, and he look like he need to lose about 100 pounds, maybe. And it's not good. It's not good to be like that, using harsh words just because you believe you're in leadership. You the husband. I can say that what I want to say. And we got to deal. God Almighty sees that. Oh, that's so great. Jerome Patrick says, I have loved her for 32 years and will always love her. And that is beautiful. That's great. And I hope, oh, that's lovely. And I'm gonna be honest with you. Yes, women, we need to, you know, lose some weight maybe, but I'm just saying, a lot of husbands, they might need to lose the weight, but they talk about the wife. That's what I'm talking about. Mr. Jerome, I'm glad you love your wife no matter what. And that's where it should be. But, but the speaking cruelty and harshly to your wife, that's not good at all. But some husbands feel as though they can say what they want to say to the wife. And then some wives criticize their husbands, and like big bullies toward their husbands, because I know some wives that actually beat their husband up. So we have, it's been, known that some husbands are, going through batteredness, but it's respect. It's respect. And if you have a husband, he doesn't need you to be a mother to him. You're supposed to be partners. If you have a husband, he doesn't need you to be a mother to him. And wives, husbands, if you have a wife, she's not your mother, but she's your partner. And you have to work as a team. You have to work as a team, you all. And I just want everybody to remember that, because it's very important for you to have the right frame of mind going in. You can't re-raise anybody. You cannot raise a man. Women, wives, you cannot raise a man. If you feel like you need to raise a man, you need to reconsider that relationship. If you think you got to raise him. Now, you can tell him the things that you like and the things that you want him to do and all that good stuff like that. You understand what I'm saying? You can tell him, baby, I like for you to rub my legs or whatever, But you can't, if he's at a point where you almost have to take something out to just whip him, and a lot of times people can whip you with your words. But you need to reconsider if you think you got to be raising somebody. You understand what I'm saying? And this is marriage truth that I'm telling. I'm talking marriage truths. Someone was unhinged and someone wasn't so bad. Okay? A marriage can look whole in public and be hurting in private. A marriage can be looking hurting in private, and in public look like they lovey-dovey. And in private they could be going at it. Okay? And so we're not trying to do that. We're trying to look just as sweet and honey bunch and loving each other in private as we do in public. Okay? I love you all, and I hope you all got something out of. Thank you. I hope you all got something out of this husband love your wife segment. I hope you all got something out of it because we're talking about marriage truths, unhinged. And I'll be praying for you all's marriage. I want great marriages, and one marriage at a time. We want. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. One marriage at a time. We want to be a great marriage. It's about the inside. Her heart looks. And all right, Mr. Jerome, let's see. It's about the inside. Correct. Her heart looks are in the eye. Yes, that's my saying there, Mr. Jerome. The listen, looks are in the eye of the beholder. I usually say that because I do believe if you're meant to be with someone, it's somebody for everybody if you're really meant to be with someone. You understand what I'm saying? And looks in the eyes of the beholder. Good evening. Yes, looks in the eyes of the beholder. Thank you. Looks are in the eyes of the beholder. Someone else. What do they say about one man trash is another man's treasure? So looks are in the eyes of the beholder. You know, someone else might think that they're the most gorgeous person ever. Oh, I shouldn't have said ever like that because it sounds like that lemonade thing. But when she made me a man. All right, Mr. Jerome. She made me a man. Facts. I'm so curious to find out how you would say she made you a man. But you know, back in the day, that's what they would say. They would say, I made my man. You know, that's what older women would say. You know, go find your own man and make him. And go find your own man and make him. You know, I didn't build this man here. But you know, and I know someone that said this is not build a bear. You might can build a bear, but you can't build a man. You know, people have all kind of things that they say. But I want to tell you all, I'm being honest. You know, I was married for 44 years, and I know a little bit about marriage, and I want to share with as many people as I can because I love, and I love we as people getting along with one another. All right, I love you all. You all have a lovely rest of today. All right, peace.